Hello.
Okay, here we go. Confidence Conversations with Idara. And today I have with me the lovely and astute Tanya Uyigue. Thank you so much for joining me today, Tanya.
Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. So before I even do your introduction, the connection here was that my sister sent me this video on Instagram. A lot of the work that I do centers around rebuilding confidence in the workplace and particularly focused on women. So I get a lot of things sent to me that are related to that. And it was that video where someone had asked a question that was about whether someone who had a higher role could be jealous. Talk about astute. And you talked about how your own personal power and attributes can indeed cause others to be envious. That just held my attention. I was like, spot on. This is the stuff that we talk about. And in that forum, you are operating your capacity as Tanya, the coach. That's the main thing. You're a founder, leadership coach, and career coach with Tanya U. And also, although that's plenty, working in capacity as a senior program success coach in the nonprofit sector. So you're not only coaching, but also managing the programs, the content and program development that's related to coaching for your clients. Prior to that, you worked in teens program as a teens program manager in a women's focused network. Prior to that, associate director of youth programs. You also supported a series of forums in LA for several months in a capacity, in a national leadership program. And then before that, a youth program consultant. And one of the things that stood out to me was that emphasis on youth, like I was alluding to earlier, and how so much of your work has been around developing youth, which is really important work. Anything that has to do with developing and empowering people or reminding people of their power is important. But I find that focus on the youth to be particularly powerful because you are catching people young, catching them early.
Planting that seed early on and helping. That's such a, it can be such, I mean, we can be fragile at any point, right, in life, but when people are young, you know, they're really trying to figure out, like, okay, where do I want to go when it comes to school? What am I beyond just a student?
Right.
How am I going to earn a living? What can I do for work that's going to be fun for me or interesting or use like my skills? What skills do I have? I don't know. I go to school. So that was, I really do miss that working with that population, because you get to see the light bulb moments. And you get to see people grow. I worked in, I was with one organization for a number of years. So there were kids who I met, in middle school and then saw them graduate from high school, and still to this day, I talk to them.
That is, I love it. And I can see that being these long-term relationships. The other thing that I looked at as reviewing your impressive background is the education component, because there seems to be really what I would describe as a natural knack for this. The way that you're communicating, how you're teasing out the points and the messages. And I see also that it's heavily backed with the education to go with it, that you had done a bachelor's in liberal arts with a focus on communication, speech communication. And we know that is key to being able to bridge whatever gap. So it's one thing to have a message. It's so important to be able to communicate, and particularly to be able to express yourself in speech. So public speaking, one of the things you described here is as a transformational speaker, seeing speech communication as something that you formally undertook was another impressive check on the box. And taking the time to go through various certification programs as a coach, associate certified coach with the International Coach Federation, certified professional coach, Institute of Professional Excellence in Coaching, Energy Leadership Index Master Practitioners, as well as the youth component, youth program quality assessor and youth program development practitioner certification. You've taken the education component of it to back your experience very seriously. but I also want to make sure I haven't left anything out in terms of education, career background. Please let me know if there's anything that I've left off of this impressive introduction.
That's a good overview. That's a good overview for sure. Yeah, I mean, the common thread has been career and helping other people from, you know, teaching young people how to get a job and what is a career and how to decide what they might want to major in college, to working with adult learners as a coach. So individuals who are going into management, you know, who are new to management, people who are also trying to switch career. I've switched careers a number of times, as you have seen some of that. But I, you know, the values and like the skill sets that I'm using, you know, they're similar. So it's a good overview.
Absolutely. I did see there's 100% a trend in there. There's a continuity. And I looked at it as there being such alignment in everything that you've done. You've not only been in one place and you've not been stuck in one place, certainly variety of experiences, but there's been that alignment, a consistency to it. And going back to the video that my sister sent me that even got on here, one of the ways that I describe it was you're talking about in the professional setting, in the work setting, what often can be a precursor to losing confidence, that if you're not aware of yourself, your skills, how much you have going for you, of your personal power and ability, it becomes that much easier to be affected by, negatively impacted by what others are bringing in, where it might be really their own lack of self-esteem, their own lack of confidence. And then now you inadvertently or unwittingly internalize that and it starts to affect you. How would you define or describe confidence?
Confidence for me is just, I believe in what I'm able to do and I believe in what I know. And so like you said, that's really, really important. And, you know, every day, like you have to work to maintain that, because there can be so much coming at you. Sometimes it's a lot of great, you know, great things, and sometimes it's not so great things, but you have to know who you are and know what you know and what you don't know. So, but what I know and what I can do, I'm confident in it. So, you know, someone can tell me, you know, oh, you know, you're not a good speaker. I don't care for your speaking. And I'm like, well, you know, everyone's not going to love, everyone has different tastes. It's just like music. Everyone has different tastes. But I know I can speak. Everyone's not going to like it, but I know what I can do. I know what I have done. I know what I'm capable of. So that's what confidence is to me.
I love that you touched on the fact that it's something that you continue to work on. And maybe it's not necessarily that it's work, but that awareness that it's something that you are adding to on a regular basis, or you have the potential to add to. I mentioned about writing on rebuilding confidence. And it's coming from a place of, we have it in us. There's something in there already, but if you don't build on it, if you don't tap into the things that nourish it and nurture it, then it can be broken down. But to know what you can do to build it up is key to being able to build it up, rebuild if necessary. But if to not lose it in the first place, is ideal. So the knowing what you can do, but also knowing that you're not for everyone. So you don't make the mistake of trying to be all things to all people.
Right. And it's important to that confidence. You can exude confidence externally. People can look at you or see you and feel like, okay, get that vibe. But for me, it's internal, because, and it's important, because my confidence doesn't come from what other people have said to me or about me. It's again, like what I know I can do and have done, because if it's all coming from, you know, external forces, it's just like, okay, what happens when you're no longer, then you lose your confidence because it wasn't real. So for me, it's important to be, and to be honest with it, with myself, you know, be very self-aware. But yeah, at this point, like there are things that I just know that I'm capable of. I know that I can do it. And that's what the confidence is. You know it.
It's about it being internal. There is absolutely that external. Someone can look confident, but not necessarily feel, but how you feel, that groundedness is key. No matter how it looks to other people, when you know it and you feel it, that really is what buoys you on. What can you share a time when being confident, I especially love that emphasis on the fact that it's internal. No matter how it looks to people, you know, you feel confident. Can you share a time when being confident made a difference in your career?
Oh yeah. So you came to me we connected via video.
Yes.
And so I've been making content. I made my first video in 2021. I had to really build up the confidence to post a video online. I was looking online. I've been online for years before I ever posted anything, and I was looking at career content. And what I was seeing was, some good content, but there was a point of view that I felt was lacking, from women who were Black, worked in, nonprofit, for-profit spaces, but just that experience, I didn't see it being articulated, and I didn't see people saying some of the unpopular things. Things that weren't necessarily part of like the formula for success. Like, so it took me some time. I'd say it took me a year. And I was just watching everybody else, people that I enjoy, people that didn't enjoy. And I'm like, oh, I wish I could just post something. I have something to say. I want to say something. I want to add something to the conversation. And I just didn't have the courage because I was like, I'm not ready yet. Let me finish this. Let me take care of that. And I just didn't have the confidence. I'm like, who am I? Like, I have all these experiences, but I don't really fit the profile of the career experts. One day over time, it was like an overnight thing, but over time, after a year, I was like, let me just post a video and see. Like, because I'm like, I really have some things to say. And I still to this day, I have endless content. I just don't have enough time to make all the videos out there. But I finally just posted a video. I think it was Memorial Day weekend 2021. And I just posted a video talking, it was more motivational thing. But it was speaking to the current experience that I was having. Like, you want to do things, you don't have to tell everybody, just work silently behind the scenes and build something. I put it out there. It's an embarrassing video. It was just bad in terms of like the quality but I did it.
Yes.
And then I got like a couple hundred views. I said, oh, well, okay, let me do another one. No one has bullied me yet. I did another one. And then I made and I would say within like my first 10 videos, I had a viral video. It's the joys of TikTok as well.
Yes.
But they make sure that people can find you, people who are looking for what you're talking about. And that changed the whole trajectory of my career, because now I have an audience. I can now share my experience and speak to other people's experience. And from that, so many things have happened. So just being confident in that, like, you know what? I do have something to offer. I have been a people manager. I have had multiple jobs in multiple industries. I have gotten all this education, these certificates. I've done the work. I do have something to add here.
Yeah.
And I was correct, because people said so much of the feedback was especially from women of color. And they were saying, you're saying something that I've always believed or felt, but I couldn't articulate it.
Yes.
So it's paid off for me, because so much has happened for me, and I've been able to, I had already started my business, but that was a big part of my starting of my business was I wanted to create content as well, to get clients, but to get speaking engagements, to do those things. So I've been able to do that. I've been able to, working on getting a book done here. I've been speaking. I've been able to travel a little bit. Like, I just have had such a great time, and it's almost like it's created another career path for me, that I feel like I can always do this.
one of the fascinating things to discover when you step away is that it's already in you. Sometimes you have to figure out what's the thing that you need to do to permit yourself to do the thing that's already in you. So you touched on so many things in describing what you've done from a place of confidence. And it's that courage to go out there. And you said it took a year. So this was something that was in you and brewing. And I do think it's an important message because sometimes people think, oh, it was overnight. Oh, it was a one and done. And it's important for them to hear from someone who is confident, who does like herself, knows what she can do, that sometimes you can still hesitate. That's not wrong. It's human. It happens. Yeah. And I think it was Maya Angelou that said something about the pain of a story in you. When there's something, it's like it's going to come out at some point, because the pain to keep it in sometimes is worse than just getting it out there. Yeah. So you sat and watched and it's like, it's not quite there. Let me say it. And then you did it, which is like the just do it. And it was not perfect. Now, of course, you're looking back, but you didn't let that stop you. If you had led with, oh my goodness, I need to have the lighting just right and all this, then it would probably have been further delayed, or maybe you would have just lingered with it long enough to talk yourself out of it. And again, you're someone who knows that you have something, you know that you can communicate, you're equipped for this. That's an important thing for people to hear too, that the pause is normal. It happens.
Yeah.
It's the honoring that initial momentum, that thing that got you going in the first place. The other thing that you've called out indirectly that we hear a lot, it sounds cliche, but it's true, is representation matters. It's so important for people to hear and see themselves in messages that are out there. And you weren't hearing it. It's like, okay, this person is doing this. It's clearly a hit with some people, but I'm still not hearing. And now you go and do it and you find out there were a whole lot of people just waiting for you to say the thing so that they could be seen, they could be heard. Yeah. And that your message will reach your people. But you have to get it out there, even with all of that. Yeah. So speaking of those pauses, you have to kind of push past, tap into the courage to get it out there, and it yielded. Yeah. And the truth is, you were not doing it for clicks and likes that happened to come. But you reached people and it resonated. What do you do in the times when you need a boost, when you need a confidence reminder or something to get you going, just boost that confidence? What are some of the things that you do to get your confidence boost?
Yeah. So I'm not in like an official hoarder, people who can't get rid of things. But I do like to hold on. I like to track my achievements. I like to track what I've done. And I like to hold on to feedback. So, I can find every performance review from work going back years, emails that I have from people, whether it's young people that I've worked with, it's colleagues. I keep everything, because it's not just about like, oh, I want to feel good about myself, but sometimes you need to feel good about yourself.
You do.
So you need that. You need those reminders. Like, wait a minute, I can do things. I can have an impact. And for me, I like to keep track. I have a track record. And part of the reason I have a track record is because I've done things. I've put myself out there to do things without, like, I'm always scared. I don't know what's going to happen, but that doesn't stop me. And so, because we're often our biggest critic, it's like that can be, it keeps us from doing things. But the reality is that we're better at things than we think.
Yes.
And so if you just do it, then you'll see that you do have, like you mentioned, that those gifts are there, the skills are there, the talents are there, all of that is there. And so I am someone who I'm not afraid to try. I don't know how long it's going to take me, but I'm eventually going to get to it. And so now I have a track record of doing things, some things I wasn't successful in, but there's a lot of things that I have been successful in. So I can go back and look at those things as a reminder. I can, look at my DMs on Instagram and TikTok, and I can see people who I don't know
Yeah.
telling me I got a new job because of you, or I was in a toxic work environment and you are the reason I got through that, right? So that tells me I can have an impact. My voice does matter, keep going. If I played small all the time, if I said, "Oh, I'm not ready," I wouldn't have a track record to look to go back and tap into.
Yeah.
If I didn't keep track of at work, like the things that I've done well, I do that because nobody else is going to.
Yeah.
I have data to show what I've achieved at work. And I work in an organization that does push that. So when you have those moments, which we all will at different points, especially when you're someone who's always trying to do something new, trying to learn something new, you always have those like, oh, can I do this? Am I capable? Or, applying for promotions or things and you don't get it, or opportunity you don't get. It's like, it's not because I can't do it, because I have a track record of I've done it already.
Yep. The evidence is there. Objectively. Objectively, the evidence is there.
Yeah, it's the proof.
Yep.
So and then there's also this other thing, like sometimes just put on an outfit that you love, spray a fragrance that you love, listen to the right music. Like I do stuff like that too, like appeal to the senses, just to get, because sometimes it's just we can be up and down and have our moments. I live in Chicago. There's not a lot of sunlight here at this time of year. All of that can impact how we feel about ourselves. So but build up a track record, and you can only do that if you push yourself to do things.
Yeah. It's spot on. I realized that even in asking the question that I use the word reminder in it. And it's because that's something that I do as well. And you kind of touched on knowing yourself. When you know yourself, know what works for you. It will look different for different people. But the thing that helps you to get over it, and to have this evidence objectively, like I said, evidence that you have done, can do this thing. And if that's something you've already done, what else is possible? And again, that reminder of we're all human. The doubt will come. It's okay. Doubt in itself is not wrong. It's more of, okay, it's something new. It's understandable that a challenge might cause you to pause, but don't stop, don't freeze. Figure out the thing that helps you to move forward, to make that next move.
I ask that in coaching, when I'm coaching people and they're hesitant to do something, or like, oh, I don't know. And I said, well, tell me about a time when you've, approached someone with a difficult conversation in the past. Tell me about a time where you, left a job before, like, because we've done things. Like you said, remind yourself that you have done it and you can do it again.
Yep. And sometimes with relative ease. Here's the other thing about being a self-critic, not that I encourage it, is that when you do produce something, it's going to be amazing because your standards are already high. Whatever it is that you've done, even when it's not fully baked from your perspective, because of the standards to which you hold yourself, it's already teeming with excellence.
Yeah.
But you do need the objective criteria, like that. Take a step back. And if it was someone else and you were looking at this objectively, what are the positives that you will see? What are the qualities that you will see? What are the possibilities that you will see? Because maybe when you free yourself from it, you take a step back and look at it from the outside. Now you can see what other people probably already see, but you can see objectively, what is it that I have done before? And as a result, can do again, can build on.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you don't know, ask somebody. Don't let people say, oh, like you're good at a lot of things. Ask them specific, like what?
Yeah.
Get the specifics, whether it's at work. I think work is very important.
Absolutely.
Get the specifics. And you can also do this with your friends and family. Like just as specific examples of like, what do you what do you think I'm, really good at? Where do you think I excel? Because we're so hard on ourselves. My goodness. Like we just will see. I'll ask people to tell me what they're not great at, and they can run me down a long list. And I say, okay, what do you, what area do you excel in? They're like, well, the humility and all, which is, we like humility, but confidence has to be present.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, how did you get into coaching? What was the impetus for you launching Tanya U?
So I have been interested in coaching in years before I launched and even got my certification. I had been an individual contributor, had been a people manager in different roles, and I really enjoyed the part of management where I felt like I was like helping someone to develop into whatever they were supposed to develop. That's what I love. There's a lot about management that I don't like, but that was the piece that I really enjoyed. And I was like, I just want to take this piece and like let that be my job, minus all the other stuff.
It's brilliant. It's
brilliant. But I always had an excuse. I don't have time. I don't have, the money. Like, how am I going to get, there was a program that I really had wanted because they looked them up and this was like one of the best programs. One of my colleagues in an old position had actually gone through that program and said that it was really, really good. So it was confirmed that it was a good program. But I was like, in the future, maybe one day. I can't do it now. Fast forward to the pandemic. When you get laid off, you got time. Now I have all the time in the world. So I took the time, I got laid off, and within 2 weeks, I was enrolled in a coach training program. Nice. Because I said, now I can focus on this. I don't have to compete with work. Because I get overwhelmed. And so I was able to completely focus on that, and that I learned so much about myself, and then realized like, this is something that, would really utilize a lot of my gifts. And I would, love to do this work. So it was a matter of, it was wanting to help people to develop and see what they were capable of and like take action. And then being laid off. That's why I tell people, sometimes you got to get laid off. Sometimes you're going to need to get fired. It's not fun in the moment. I wasn't happy as a toddler and whatnot. But if that hadn't happened, I don't know if I would be doing it.
Yeah, they say every disappointment is a blessing.
Yeah.
Another cliche, but a lot of times when people share pivotal moments where they've had a push or growth that they were not planning, it came from something that really was a disappointment. Almost without exception, people have that story of, well, I was doing this and here's what I was hoping for. And then this thing happened, I was disappointed. But had that thing not happened, I wouldn't have been pushed to do this. And it's a much more common experience than people realize. And I think that's the other thing that happens is that we sit by ourselves or with ourselves and don't realize that some of what we're experiencing, other people are experiencing as well, or have experienced. We're looking at that exterior, to your point about confidence, and thinking, well, surely this is not anyone else's experience. This is me going through this thing, and it's a much more common experience. But it's the not allowing that to stop you, having your goal in mind that allows you to push past those moments.
Yeah.
To hear beyond that. We've crammed a lot into this time, but this relatability of the pause happens, the hesitation happens, it's normal, it's okay. But what you do after that or despite that is what matters. What else is a message that you have experienced, seen, and heard consistently, and it's even a shared message, a shared experience rather, that you think is really important for people to remember or to realize?
Just really to remember or to look for the opportunity, like versus the problem. So yes, it's a problem. Like I mentioned, it's a problem when you get, when you lose a job or you don't get a promotion, or you're, there are all these different things that can happen to us, but that is where a lot of confidence can be built, because you can take those opportunities, you can take those, what you see are problems, and say, actually, what is the opportunity here? What can I do from this? It's not, we're not talking about toxic positivity.
Exactly.
We're
or
just
dispensing
saying,
with reality.
yeah, because it's hard and it sucks and we don't like it. And we can see challenges all the time, right? Especially if you're looking for them. But what is the opportunity in those moments? And what can you build from there? And even if it's just a shift in it's your mindset shift, or what can I try now? Those are the things that I've had to do, is like really look at like, what are the rough things that have happened? And I know it's a problem. I see it as a problem, but okay, now what can I do? Let that fuel you. And that's where a lot of my confidence comes from. Because even though things happen and that I don't enjoy, that are hard on me mentally, physically, financially, like I can still make something happen because I have gifts, because I have skills. So people think confidence just comes from, nowhere. Like, you're actively doing things that are building that for you, or take the opportunity, when something happens to you that's not ideal, and use that to grow from. That's the confidence right there. So just to remember that it's about how you perceive things.
Absolutely. Mindset perspective absolutely makes a difference. Sometimes the way someone's walking into the room, it's more of absolutely your decision. If you decide to cower and shrink when you're walking into the room, as opposed to if you stand tall, walk in, knowing, fill in the blank of the things that help you to do that, that it's your decision. You get to shape it.
Yeah.
Look for the opportunity, not the problem. That's a good one. Yeah. Okay. What's your next bold move?
Well, there's a lot that I'm planning to do this year. I would say it's that, like, it's going all in on me. And I have, every year, the past few years, like and even it was before 2020, I had a big career shift in 2018, 2019. But I have given more and more to myself, or to like what I want to do, and become more aware of who I am and where I can contribute just in society. So this year, I'm doubling down on everything, on myself, on my business. So I'm putting so much in. I've historically had a problem asking for help. And so I tend to do a lot on my own. I've hired someone to help me now.
Congratulations, Tanya. Congratulations. That is big, because you also have gifts and skills. So it's tempting, really, to try to do it all.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I can't. Thank you. So I'm going all in, and there's nothing that's not possible for me. So that's the attitude that I have moving forward. Things will not happen overnight. So I'm being very realistic about the timeline, but there's so much that I can do. And so my bold move has been getting some help and really focusing on, I know that I want to get a book done. I know that I want to, create a space for people, a community for people who want to grow as leaders, for people who want to build that confidence, for people. Like, I want to create that space for people so that they don't just have that access to me and to my content on social media, because we know social media doesn't seem to, it's very unstable. It's very unstable, and the algorithms are not stable. So those are some of the things, those are the things that I'm doing, but it's basically just me really going for it, and doing all of this while holding down a 9 to 5. or 10 to 6, or, you know, whatever my hours are that day.
That stopped me in my tracks when you said it the first time. I was like, wait, what? You're doing what? I didn't realize. I mean, it's that much more impressive. It is literally full-time work. And it's also work that's pouring into others. I know it's rewarding. It still takes up a lot of time. So I assumed that TanyaUCoaching, which is also full-time work, was everything that you were doing. So to find that you were doing full-time, and it's impressive, Tanya. It's impressive what you're accomplishing.
Thank you. I have to do it. I have to do it. And I enjoy it. And that's what I'm happy about at this stage in my career. Like, I don't love everything about, you know, having a business or being an employee. There's always things that we don't enjoy, but for the most part, I get to use my gifts, and I'm really going to be focusing on that with others. Like, what are your gifts, and are you doing work that aligns with those? Because it makes it easier. Like, it's the time is the challenge for me, like the time, but the actual work, oh, I could do this all day.
Yeah. When you're doing something that you enjoy, yes, there are practical components to it, but in itself, it's energizing.
Yeah, it's I tell people, like, they say, I don't know what I want to do. I say, what are you good at? That's what you should be doing. It doesn't, you know, do more of that. Do more of what you are good at, which will, you know, and you can still be learning and building in other areas, or even, you know, pursue your passion on the side or whatever, if what you're good at isn't your passion, because it might not be.
Yes, touche, absolutely.
Might not be, but I don't have time for my work to be so excruciatingly difficult. I don't want that. I want it to be
life is short. Let's do
So yeah, that's my bold move.
That is bold. It's not something small at all to take the time to get the help that you need when it's tempting to do it all yourself, especially as a multi-talented person. And the going all in on you. The reality, the truth is, by you being fine, amazing, equipped, bolstered, so many other people get to benefit from it. So the going all in on you ends up yielding benefits for your people as well.
Yeah.
I'm so glad my sister sent me that video. I'm so glad.
Me too.
That we could have this conversation, that you were available. It was an absolutely inspirational video. I love the articulation, obviously. I mean, I reached out immediately. I was so glad to find you on LinkedIn, but I love this message, the messaging that you are touching people by you being you and sharing things that people just may not have heard or may not have seen themselves in the way the message was conveyed. So congratulations, kudos, amazing work. And I'm excited. Now I'm connected. So I'm going to be able to see what's to come.
Yeah.
Congratulations again, Tanya.
Thank you.
And thank you. We're looking forward to that next bold move.
Yes. And thank you. You've got your platform going. So I appreciate you inviting me to be a part of all of what you've done with your book. I gotta pick this up. I gotta get this book.
Well, we'll as you were talking through different things, when I talk about rebuilding confidence, it's like, yep, check. Yeah. These are the things. So yes, I'm going to link that video below so that people have that specific one that I'm referencing, a link to the book as well, since we've talked about it, and anything else that we've touched on, so people have a quick way of getting it. But thanks again.